Hello, Ryan here, and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all of the news from the week just past. Be sure to subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get on with it. This week, Alien Week begins. Alpha 317.2 entered Evocati testing on the PTU, plus we have a really impressive deep dive into the Colossus Banu Merchantman. So this week's Inside Star Citizen was taking a deep dive look into the current progress on the Banu Merchantman. Now this ship is an absolute beast. We didn't even see the whole of the ship here, we just saw certain sections as it was too big to basically tour the full thing. And you can certainly tell that this is going to help to further flesh out the Banu race a lot more. Now the Banu Merchantman is a bit of a landmark ship, which is a ship for traders, acting as a roving caravan of sorts for mercantile, with shops inside for players to set up and sell whatever it is they want to. At this moment in time, the Banu Merchantman's exterior is currently going through its grey box pass, while the interior is more in its white box, so the exterior is further along in the ship pipeline. And if you want to learn more about the ship pipeline and how the ships go from concept to completion, I will link my video which explains this for those interested. Now, they have two artists currently working on it at this time, and right now they are making sure that everything is where they need it to be, making sure that everything fits inside and everything that needs to fit will fit. To begin with, we got to see the exterior, which is looking very slick, especially when you see the wings transition from closed to open, which is sped up, by the way. It will be a lot slower than this for the final version. And just like the Banu Defender, it has its elaborate detailing, as the Banu race do like to kind of show off their wealth as part of their culture. Of course, compared to the Banu Defender, this is on a much greater scale, so there does appear to be a lot more detail here. So moving inside, it begins on the bridge in the pilot seat, and as you will see throughout this interior tour, the spaces are very large and very open. Now, on the bridge there are 4 stations, but no captain's seat, as the Banu don't believe in rank as such, and they are more of a communal race, so there is no one to rule them all. Instead, they all just work together. Now, you can see there is a pilot seat which rises the pilot up using the Jan gravity tech to be able to see over the front. To the right of the pilot seat, you have the co-pilot, and then behind each of those are 2 remote turret seats, allowing for great coverage and communication as well. Now, behind the bridge, there are 6 emergency suit lockers and escape pods in case things go a bit foobar. Directly behind this is the access to the main manned turret that will rise up and expose above the ship. Again, using alien tech, this time it is like an air shield, so you don't vent the atmosphere inside, which I will say is probably my favourite section of the Banu Merchantman. It looks very unique and very alien. Such an iconic room is this turret room. But down from the bridge is what they call the Sanctuary. Now, the Banu are very multicultural and have this area completely dedicated to things like worship, to fortune, making sure that they are always blessed. So although it can be used by humans, it will still have these alien or Banu elements to it, which I do really like. Now, they do mention that this Sanctuary section is actually the end of the Tree of Life, which the whole ship was built around. Now, I've not entirely seen this yet. I don't think they've really explained this or shown it off. If they have, do let me know where it was explained. But it does sound like it's kind of the flowing principle throughout the ship and will likely help it to stand out from the other races, but also abide to the Banu culture. Very nice. Now, off to the side is the med bay, which has a primary bed in the middle. We don't know what tier bed this will be. Probably a tier 2, like we see on the Carrack and the 890 jump, but also has 2 recovery beds, which are a little different to traditional human medical beds, and instead use pools of healing gel, which I do appreciate the deviation from the norm here. I suspect the same principles will apply to the normal beds, but the design is different. Now, behind the medbeds is where the medical officer will sit, with their desk and storage locker, plus access to the medbeds to allow them to interact, and as the designers say, refill anything the beds may need. So you'll be interacting and dealing with the beds from that area. I do love this section a lot, and I think it'll be quite a lot of fun playing the role of a medical officer on the Banu Merchantman, especially if you're having pedestrians and just citizens coming on board and going around the shops. Accidents probably could happen, so having someone to deal with any injury might be a good idea. Now, beyond the shrine is what they call the recreation and social habitation area. This is where those on board can make food and socialise. Either side of the habitation area are the 2 staff lifts to allow for easy access to crew quarters and the rest of the ship, rather than just a single large elevator at one end of the ship, as it would take forever to get to it due to the ship's size. Off of the hab area is the secondary control room for the hangar section to allow access to opening and closing the hangar doors, which is a very nice touch. As you can see it opening up to allow maybe a ship to come in and land. And I would think that this would be a great idea for when you have a VIP customer coming in who is maybe planning to spend quite a bit of UEC. You can just let them land on board and then start your negotiations. Now at the rear is the staff lift, which has access to all of the floors on this ship, being 6 in total, which is crazy considering that this is just a spaceship. But this can take you to the passenger access area as well, which takes them to the foyer area, along with the conference room, where you can go and discuss some serious negotiations, which has a great view down to the cargo bay, where all of the goods are stored. Now, besides the negotiation room are the VIP suites to provide accommodation for the VIP delegates who will come to spend a lot of money. Really nice touch there. And then we enter into the cargo room, which is huge, like a warehouse, and you can easily see here that these single SCU boxes are stacked from floor to ceiling, kind of creating that IKEA feeling. Very strange. Now, the market area is up next, which does look phenomenal, where you can see the many stores set across 2 floors. It is such an interesting space, and I can only imagine what it will be like with a lot of customers roaming from store to store, seeing what's available. I think I would personally have some subtle player or NPC guards, just to keep everyone safe as well in case anyone tries to shoplift or whatever. But the central section will allow for traders to show off their items that are maybe too large or valuable to place inside the ship, so you can display certain items, like even a ship, I suppose. You could put up a display of a ship that you have for sale, because clearly it wouldn't fit inside the Banu merchantman. Now, the last area we got to see was the crew sleeping quarters, which, unlike some of the human ships, with the Banu being more communal, they like to share the same space with a social pit in the center. Now, this part of the ship has been taken a little further through development, almost to final, as it will be used as a visual guide for the rest of the ship for the developers to aim for. And right now, CIG say that basically they have a skeleton crew working on the Banu merchantman, figuring out everything it might need, and as resources open up, more of the team will get involved and speed up its development. Now, personally, the design and shape language throughout the Banu merchantman is so iconic, and I'm not someone who is generally a fan of alien ships. I think they look cool, all of them do, and very unique, but I do prefer the more human-orientated ones. But the Banu merchantman does look like quite a hallmark ship, and it's not even complete yet. The skills that the ship team are showing here are really unbelievable, and I'm sure we will continue to follow along with its development as it continues to evolve, but I think it's going to be one of those ships that we will certainly get lost inside on. Anyway, that was Inside Star Citizen, a great deep dive into the Banu merchantman, but let us move on. So also this week, it was Alien Week, so everything was themed around the various alien races within the Star Citizen universe, with this week's Star Citizen Live watching lead concept artist Frederic as he created a cartoon Xi'an character for a game dev episode. We also had a new Xi'an transmission, which was left to the community to translate, and I believe it was, but I'm actually yet to read exactly what was written. For Alien Week, there was a lot of extra stuff going on, like alien ship sales for those interested, plus contests like designing an alien ship poster and more. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. But finally, Alpha 317.2 has entered the PTU for the Evocati. I have covered the initial build's patch notes, which contain features that even I was surprised to see. I will link that video in the description below so you can take a look for yourself, but I will also continue to cover this patch as it makes its way through PTU testing. It is already looking like a very impressive build, and I really look forward to getting stuck in. So quite the week to celebrate the Verse's diversity, plus a great sign that 317.2 is now in the PTU, meaning it's only really a matter of time until it goes live. Hopefully things go as smooth as possible and we can see a release for the end of June, because once that goes into live, then 318 will begin its journey through the PTU as well. So really excited for this year expanding and evolving and giving us 317.2 to just crack on with. So that brings us to the end of the show. If you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. Also, I am able to do this thanks to my very generous patrons and channel members. If you appreciate what I do and would like to help make it even better from as little as $1 a month, all of the links are provided below.